Hi everyone, Stepan here. Today I'm going to play a training game and to answer your questions from the comments, yes, I will continue the D4 series as soon as I come back from the tournament. It finishes on the 20th and I will be back in Zagreb on the 21st and I will continue recording theoretical videos. Until the tournament, which I leave to on the 11th, on Friday, I'm going to be training, so I'm either going to be solving tactics or playing training games. Last time I attempted to reach 2100, I failed. I came to 2069 and then I lost 3 out of 4 games and failed my goal. And now, until the tournament, I'm not going to be setting any rating goals, I'm just going to be playing. Then when I come back, I'll try to reach 2100 again. Okay, so let's have a game. Create a game. So the lowest rating 2050, random colors, and go. I hope I get the game in, and I have to say it's easier to play without the pressure of having to reach a certain rating. Or at least I hope so. Haven't tried yet. I haven't really played a classical game on Lichess ever since September 30th. So let's see what happens. If I don't get the game quickly, I'm going to go for random pairing because that's quicker. Yeah, and I've been spending my days training and reading and analyzing games mostly. I've looked at a ton of games in the openings I play and I had some good ideas. Some problems as well. I have a few variations which I didn't still quite figure out and I plan to play them, so I have a few issues to resolve and I'm trying to find ideas in Grandmaster games. I don't know if when you prepare a new opening, which games do you look at? I've started by looking at Grandmaster games, then I switched to 2100, 2200 games and I find more ideas there because players who are 21 or 2200 actually make mistakes in the opening more often than 2500 players, of course. So, okay, we have a game 2052. I'm white. Okay, and I find it easier to find early deviations when I look at games from weaker players. Find that helps. Okay. Let's see what he does. Knight f6 or knight c6. Okay, knight c6. Okay, I'll stick to my Italian. And let's see the game. I want to play a game without blunders. That's my first goal. I've been blundering tactically a lot on my quest to reach 2100. That's the main reason for my failure. I lost 5 games because of tactical blunders, not inaccuracies, not mistakes, but actual blunders that cost me the game. Okay, I usually play either castles or c3. Castles can lead to the Deutsch Gambit, which I like, but I want to play a normal game, and if this were a real tournament game, I would play c3. Now yeah, either d6 or knight f6. Knight f6 is the main move. Now we have the Giuoco Piano, and I've been trying out some things with bishop e3, which I normally don't play, and I've also included the move h3 in my Italians in the Giuoco Piano, a move which I normally didn't play. I would only play it if bishop g4 is played, but then I started looking at positions with an early h3 and I like them. So yeah, the thing is, it's when you play h3, black will most often develop his bishop to e6, and then I play bishop b3. If he ever takes, I take with the queen, and I'm looking forward to a move to the move knight g5, where when my bishop is on b3, his bishop is on e6, I play knight g5. He's often forced to take. Okay, knight f6, d3 or castles. d3 is better. So now I have to watch out for knight a5. The main idea of the move c3 is to meet knight a5, which takes the pawn. Even now when he has played d6 but hasn't castled yet, knight a5 is not a threat because I have bishop b5 check, something, probably c6 or bishop d7. If bishop d7 I take, if c6 I play here, a4 and then c2. So I can castle, I don't have to play bishop b3. Now if he castles, I have to play bishop b3. If he doesn't castle, he can go a6, he can go bishop e6, and that's basically it. Bishop e6, castles, or a6 are the main moves here. I've also faced bishop b6, which okay. Well, that's a move as well. So at this point, I play h3 to stop knight g4 and bishop g4. Because if I play rook e1, which is a move I want to play, then he could go knight g4 and I would have to go back or play rook e2. Okay, now he's castled, so bishop b3, stopping knight a5. Now the main moves are either knight e7 or a6, bishop a7. I prefer knight e7. He could also go bishop e6, but I'm not going to take. I'll just play knight d2, rook e1, knight f1, knight g3. And okay, yeah, that could be played as well. Now I just have to see whether I have d4 or not. d4 is the main break in these positions, and d4 for white, d5 for black. If I go d4, e takes d4, c takes d4, bishop b6. If I go e5, d takes e5, d takes e5, knight takes e5, knight takes e5. No, d takes e5, d takes e5. Queen takes queen, rook takes queen. Yeah, I still can't do that. So let's play normal moves. Rook e1, I want to transfer my knight either to e3 or to g3. Probably now, since he is delaying a6, bishop a7, I'm going to play d4 if he doesn't do something straight away, because d4 is now reinforced, or e5 is reinforced. And he could run into some trouble. So let's say he plays bishop e6, I play d4. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Now I have to start thinking. d4, ed4, cd4, bishop b6, e5, d5, d5, queen takes queen, rook takes queen, knight e5, knight e5, rook takes e5, rook d8, check, king, h7, bishop c2. So d4, ed4, cd4, bishop b6, d takes e5. I'm sorry, e5. D takes e5, d takes e5. Queen takes queen, rook takes queen, knight takes d5, e5, knight takes e5, rook takes e5. Rook d8 check, he can go back to rook e8. So I'm not sure that works. I'm still going to say that a5 is not a precise move. And maybe I should play d4 anyway. Although probably bishop c2 or knight d2 is better before d4. So bishop c2. Can he go d5 if I play bishop c2? Well, he can go d5 anyway. I think bishop c2 is slightly passive. d4, ed4, cd4, bishop b6, e5. Yeah, I don't like that. If I go bishop c2, d5, pawn takes, queen takes, or knight takes. His pawn is protected. if the queen takes, I can go d4. I think I can allow d5. So I'm just going to develop normally and play knight b to d2. I don't think d5 is a strong threat because I have d4, and now with knight bd2 I've stopped e4. So d5, ed5, knight d5, bishop d5, queen d5, and I have d4, or I don't have to give up my bishop at all. I've spent some time here because the move a5 I'm not familiar with. I'm much more used to a6. Because my bishop wants to go to c2 anyway, and because a4 is protected. If he doesn't play d5, then I don't know what he does. Okay, bishop e6 is a normal move. Now d4. d4, ed4, cd4. He would have to take my bishop with his bishop, then I take with the queen, then his b7 pawn is hanging. d4, ed4, cd4, bishop b3, queen b3, bishop b6. And then I can go d5, and that should be better for me. d4, ed4, cd4, bishop b3, queen b3, bishop b6, d5, knight e7, or I can go e5. d4, ed4, cd4, bishop b3, queen b3, bishop b6. Can I go e5? Or should I go d5? So his knight is on c6, his bishop is on b6, his bishop is on, he doesn't have a light squared bishop on e6. So I have pawns on e4, d4, he has a pawn on d6, and I can push d5, but what do I gain with that? He has knight e5, I can push e5, he can take, I can take, my knight is still on d2. Okay, I'm going to play it because it's positionally correct, and I'm going to figure out what to do after bishop b6. I may even have some tricks with e5, and if he takes, probably could take with the knight, or I can go knight c4, or I can go knight f1. Did I just leave a pawn? I just left a pawn hanging. My knight is on d2. Oh, all the calculation, and then I mess up like that. That's just horrible. Now, what's the cause for this blunder? I just have no idea. I have no idea. Okay. This is just atrocious, and I just gave up a pawn for nothing. So I've calculated completely irrelevant stuff in this position, and then I blundered the pawn. Now my e4 pawn is hanging. and I'm just lost. What was I thinking? Yeah. I'm just worse, and I'm much worse, but there's nothing I can do now. I have to trade everything off and try to survive the endgame. Okay. Let's try to survive the endgame. And I may have also lost a piece now. Yeah, pretty sure I lost a piece. No, I only lost a pawn. Because rook e8, f4, knight d7, I can go rook f1 or rook d1. But it's not that I'm not playing well, I'm playing disgustingly bad. Or he can just go knight d7 now, and I'm going to resign. Or no, yeah, knight d7, bishop f4. I have knight f3, so it should be fine. I'm not losing a piece. Yeah. Bishop f4, knight d7, or he can go knight h5. So that's not good. So I have to play f4 and give up another pawn. I can go bishop f4, knight h5, bishop h2, f6, knight f3. So I'm going to do that. I have to save my back rank or I'll get mated. Yeah. Now f6, knight f3 saves the day, and if we trade everything off I should be able to draw, but it's going to be a hard struggle. How did I just gave up a pawn. Just gave up a pawn for nothing. Okay, it's better to make blunders like that in a training game, but it's not even a tactical blunder, it's just a blind spot, I don't know. The pawn is just hanging, and I just push it forward. Horrible. He should probably play f6, knight f3, and then he should play rook e2, which is a beautiful move. If I take, I have to play rook f1, and he takes on b2. If I play rook f1 immediately, he takes on b2. Okay, he does that, which is also good. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. No, this game is just lost. It's dead lost. But we will fight on. I think instead of bishop d4, just f6, knight f3, rook e2 would have been completely winning, because I cannot take on e2 because rook e2, and my f2 pawn is pinned and hanging, and b2 is hanging as well. So now if he takes, I will take with the rook, and he will take, and I will take with the knight. If he takes on b2, I'm going to take on c7 and try to survive the 2-on-1 on the queen side. But if he plays something like c6, I'm still not sure I can save my pawn. Could probably take, yeah, play c5. So if I take one rook, I take the rook, he takes, I could try playing g4 to free myself of this menacing knight. I feel like I should take the rook. Don't see any other options. Okay, and now g4. Trying to get rid of that knight. And now defending my pawn. But he can attack it another time, which is not good. So probably king f1. Just trying to hold the position. Stopping rook e2. If he plays c4, I have knight f4 attacking the rook, and then I can play rook b1. I mean, I'm lost, I'm a pawn down, but this is going to be good practice for tournament play. So now if I play rook b1, he's going to play knight d2 check. So let's defend that. Bishop f4. Oh, but now after c4 I do lose the pawn. Okay, so rook d1. Rook d1, c4, knight f4, and then I can play b3. He doesn't have time to take on f2, I think, because after knight f4, if c4, knight f4, knight f2, I'm going to take on d4. And then his knight is hanging and his rook is hanging. So if he takes my rook, okay, triple pressure, that makes sense. Do I just meekly defend with bishop g1? Jesus. He's crushing me. Okay, I think I have to play bishop g1. I didn't want to play f4 because it allows knight f4, knight g3 check. Or it doesn't, my bishop is still on h2. I should have played f4, what the hell is wrong with me? Okay, next game I hope I can start seeing stuff before I blunder. I wanted to play bishop g1 so that I play f4 later, but moving the bishop actually allows knight g3 check. Yeah, c4 now. Should have just played f4. Okay, I'm going to resign this one. and try to play a rematch against him. Or better yet, let's look at the analysis of the game. Okay, so here everything is correct. I'm wondering about his a5 move. a5 is okay, and a4 is the main move. Knight b to d2, which I played, is now the best move. And now bishop e6. Okay. Bishop takes or bishop a4? What's bishop a4? Or a4? So that's the stuff Caruana plays in the Italian, and Magnus also. They play a4, a5, and Karyakin. A d4 just... Wow. d4 immediately lost. I don't think I need to look at this anymore. It's just busted. And I'm pretty sure he could have won my piece now after bishop f4. Knight h5 here. I thought just f6, and when the knight moves to f3, just rook e2. Yeah, rook e2 is a very, very strong move, and I would resign. Okay, so not a good game. Oof, let's have another one. I will try to forget about this game as soon as possible. I don't know what I was thinking. I mean, I was in theory, then he played a5, then I started complicated things in my head, and then I played a disgusting move which does nothing. Okay, white again. Let's go. Scandinavian, okay. Goes for the modern. Let's see what happens. I like the modern Scandinavian. I like it more than queen takes. It's different. It allows white to have a queen side, queen spawn opening setup with d4, c4, without the problem of having to play e3 and get the bishop out. But there are a lot of normal moves here. I don't know why he's spending so much time. Bishop g4 is probably what I would play. Okay, going for that setup, I'll just chase the knight away with c4. Gain a tempo on the knight and play knight c3 when I have extra space here. Okay, knight c3, bishop g7. Bishop e2 is probably correct. Bishop d3 is not such a good move because it's looking at this wall of pawns, and also I don't want to block the defense of my d4 pawn. Perhaps I could play d5 on the previous move end here, but that's just too weakening. So in the Scandinavian, same as in the Caro-Kann, black is going to probably play e6, c6, and then it's hard for me to play d5. But if I play d5 here, any e6 or c6 would weaken this diagonal a lot. So I'm just going to castle and see if he does play e6. That could be a slightly weakening move here because he's going to have a lot of weaknesses on the dark squares. So I may just go if e6, well, not e6 now, that would be horrible blocking in his bishop. I may go h3, h3 to stop knight g4, and then bishop e3, queen d2, and try to exchange the bishops, play rook d1. Okay, now d5 makes a bit more sense. But he still has c6 and d6. And I don't want to play d5 to weaken my position, so I'm going to go for... h3 seems like a redundant move now that his bishop is coming to the long diagonal, but I'm trying to stop knight g4, not bishop g4. Okay, knight g4 is annoying, I want to stop that. Bishop b2, bishop e3, knight c6 probably, queen d2. And we'll see what happens, but I'm not unhappy with my position. He has two good bishops. I have the center, so something for everybody. I want to get my rooks to d1 and e1, and then probably play d5 if he allows it. Now e6 would be weak still. c6 was blocking his bishop, so it doesn't make too much sense. So it seems that d5 is going to be on the cards throughout the middle game. He's not going to try to fight it. I'm not sure what he does with his b8 knight. If it comes to c6, it's inviting me to play d5. If it comes to d7, then where does it go? Yeah, now, where's that knight going? He cannot play e5 or c5. I have to stop those two moves. So e5 I can take, c5 I can play d5, c5, d5, e6 takes. That would isolate his e6 pawn. So I'll just continue normally. Do I want to allow knight e4? Well, maybe I do. Queen d2, knight e4, knight e4, bishop e4, bishop h6. And I get to trade off the bishops. Or I can just go rook d1. I don't really mind. I think his knight... No. Oh, no. I made a mistake. Because now I've allowed him to trade his superfluous knight for my knight. And that's a huge strategic mistake. So he has a problem getting this knight into the game. And by allowing knight e4, I've allowed either him to exchange or me to exchange, and then the bad knight comes to f6. But how could I have stopped that? If I had played bishop d3, I would have stopped knight e4, but I'm not sure I want my bishop on d3. Well, maybe I do, actually. I don't know, I'm not happy about this, because strategically now he gets to trade off his bad piece indirectly. So knight e4 has to be correct here. Knight e4, bishop e4. Can I then play e5, d5, and threaten g4 to force him to take on f3? So knight e4, bishop e4, d5. If he tries e6 or c6, I have time for g4, and then bishop f3. Bishop f3. My position is slightly loose, but not too loose, and I'm not unhappy to have an isolated queen's pawn with the bishop pair in this position. So this move, queen d2, may actually be a good move, but I'm not sure. So knight e4, bishop e4, d5. So my threat is g4, knight g5, actually. And that's not really a threat. Yeah, he should play knight e4. Okay, now do I want to stop knight e4? He is now threatening to play e5. e5 takes. e5 takes, knight takes, knight takes. And I'm stopping that with rook d1. Now the question is, where do I want my rooks, c and d or d and e? I think d and e is correct. So rook a to d1 stops e5, because I take, takes, takes, and if he takes with rook I win. But now still knight e4 is a concern. But then if he moves his other knight into f6, I do have more control over e5. And eventually he has to play either e5 or c5, otherwise he's not going to have any room for his pieces. But so e5 doesn't work now, c5 doesn't work now, because I played d5. Although now c5, d5, e6, what do I do? If I take, he takes with the rook. If I push, I think my d6 pawn is quite weak. I'm not sure how do I start an attack, because if bishop h6, what does he do? Okay, I still have better pieces than he does. He still needs to get his a8 rook into the game. And I'm not sure how he does that. And it's correct for him to be thinking here, because it's complicated to find a plan. He has a double fianchetto, but his rooks are a problem. I obviously have more space for my major pieces, and that could give me a lot more play. I have the semi-open d file. And if he doesn't do something committal, like e5 or c5, I don't see a way for him to untangle. Because how does he develop? Where does he put his queen? So I still think knight e4 is correct, because when you have less space, it's good to trade off minor pieces, because those are the ones who usually don't have room to maneuver. And also, yeah, he would get to develop his queen at least, put his bad knight onto f6. But still what has to be calculated is knight e4, bishop e4, d5, when I'm threatening knight g5 and g4. But knight g5, h6. No, knight g5, he has to move the bishop to f5. Knight g5, bishop f5, g4, h6, takes on g6, f takes g6. So that works. So I don't think knight e4 is a good move because of d5. The question is if d5, c6 is playable. Knight g5 probably isn't. So he's spending a lot of time because e5 is not a possibility, which is the main break here. Yeah, he does play knight e4. Now let's test our theory. So my plan was to go d5 and d5, knight f6, bishop g5, h6 takes. So I'm going to try it because I've been looking at this for a while and I think it works. And it was the only logical thing to do for him. Am I afraid of giving up the e5 square? I don't think so, because if bishop f3, knight e5, bishop e2, I'm going to continue with f4. So this is what happens when your opponents think for a long time. You get to calculate on their move, which is good. So if I hadn't thought about knight e4, then I would have taken a lot of time myself. But since it took him 5 minutes to play knight e4, I managed to work everything out, or at least I think I did manage to work everything out. His bishop is not well placed now. And what does he do? He could try h6 now, but then I take it. He could try f6, but that shouldn't be a good move. And I now have the d4 square for my bishop as well, and for my knight. His knight just got the c5 square, but he still didn't resolve the issue of his rook and queen. I've opened up the diagonal for the g7 bishop, but I don't think that's going to be a big concern after I play bishop d4 or bishop h6. So my threat is knight g5 and g4. If I were him, what would I do? The safest option is bishop f3. What else can you do? Is there anything he can do? He can try knight e5 immediately, but then I can go knight e5, bishop e5, f3, bishop f5, g4, and win the light square bishop. So knight e5 is not a move. Knight c5, I'm probably just going to take and play against his structural weakness. Or maybe not. Or maybe I'm going to take. Yeah, that's the problem with these Scandinavian positions in which you leave your major pieces on the back rank, then you need to play e5 or c5. Now obviously both are quite bad. He's spending a lot of time. I mean, this is still the early middle game. In my opinion, like we are on move 14, so we still have a lot of play. If he doesn't blunder here, but I mean he has 5 minutes, I have 15, so if the position gets complicated and tactical, my extra time is going to be a big advantage. And by the way, I have some baby cats in the neighborhood who make really strange sounds. I don't know if I've ever heard that. So I've never had a cat myself. I have a dog. And small cats make really weird sounds. It might not be the small cats, but I saw them and I heard sounds. So I don't want to try and repeat that, but yeah, it's just... So yeah, I live in a really quiet neighborhood, and there are a lot of cats who don't really belong to people, but they're not those city cats with bruises and ugly and dirty. They look pretty washed and clean and nice, and they just lie around cars and on the street, and there's almost no traffic here, so they don't really get bothered by people, so it's really nice. And now, obviously, one of them has some baby cats which make weird sounds. So yeah, and on a side note, I did make Murg Makani twice, which for the first time I made it a week ago. I wanted to make it a month ago, but I ended up doing something else. And the first time I made it, and sorry for this digression, but while he's thinking. Okay, so the first time I put too much cardamom, I think, because it was too powerful. And I didn't put enough tomatoes. And also, I made it with yogurt instead of cream because I didn't want it to be too thick and too fat and too heavy. And it was too spicy. And then 2 days ago I made it again, and this time I used real cream. And I watched on the spices, actually measured everything, which I never do when I cook, and it turned out exactly like in a restaurant. So it was the same taste, smell, and visually it also looked the same. Okay, so he took, which I think is the correct decision. Now, if knight e5, bishop e2, and I'm still in my calculation, so what can you do? He gave me time to think again, and now just f4, f5. Ooh. That's a very committal move. Okay, now I have to start thinking. Enough of food. So if I play f4, he's going to play knight d7. And if I play f5, what does he do? f4, knight d7, f5. He can allow me to take. Yeah, I'm just going to do that. I don't really have to think so much, because this should be fine for me. I don't want to take en passant and open up the d file for him, because his pieces still don't have any squares. Okay, and now just f5. If he comes back to e5, I don't really mind. I just activated my rook for free with tempo. Although now I don't have bishop h6, which is unfortunate, because he has bishop d4 check. But now that he is low on time, I need to play aggressively. I need to play a tactic. I need to make the position more tactical to force him to think, because I think knight e4 is a mistake because of what happened, because of d5. Then I think bishop takes f3 is correct, but it took him 10 minutes to find one correct move and one incorrect move. So if the position gets complicated, he's probably going to get even lower on time. Now here, if he plays knight e5, I'm going to use the time to play bishop h6. And yeah, now I'm playing virtually a rook up, and I have the bishop pair. So I should be better. His rook is never getting into the game. His a8 rook. Okay, plays knight f6. Now, what's his threat? Does he want to play knight e4? Yes, he does. So I'm going to just take first. That has to be correct. And then I'm going to play bishop d3. And both of these moves are really natural and should be correct. Okay, and bishop d3 to stop knight e4. And now my bishop pair is good, my rook is good, I can play bishop h6, I can try to double up my rooks. He should probably play e6 at some point and try to reduce my central control. But e6 could be risky. Okay. He doesn't play e6, he stops bishop h6. I can't help looking at g4. So he's probably going to play e6 next. That's fairly logical. And then I want to play something like bishop b1 to meet e6 with takes, and then if he takes my queen, I can take on f7 intermezzo and then take. And if he takes with the rook, I win his rook ultimately. So I want to stop e6 because that's the best move here. So if I play bishop b1, I'm also preparing to probably create a battery with queen c2 or queen d3. And if he plays e6, bishop b1, e6, d takes e6, if he plays queen takes queen, I take e takes f7. If he plays rook takes e6, I take the queen. If he plays f takes e6, I ruin his pawn structure. So I'm going to do that. I don't want to play bishop c2 because I would lose my b2 pawn. Knight g3 doesn't concern me at all. I want to double up my rooks anyway, so I'll just play rook f3. I think he should have played e6 when he had the opportunity to do so. Okay. What's his idea? What's that move about? Knight g3 isn't really a threat. So I'll just play rook f3 and yeah, rook f3. Just try to double up my rooks. If he holds off e6 for too long, then rook f1 stops e6. I don't think he has any good infiltration points. It would be another story if he could get his bishop here, but he can't get his bishop there. And also I always have the opportunity to exchange stuff with bishop f4, which I don't want to do, but it's nice to have that option. And when I play rook df1, he's threatening to win a pawn, which I'm not too concerned about. Is that his threat, really? Is that what he wants to do? If I play rook f1, he can take on b2, but then I would have to move my queen, which I don't like. But I can take and take on f7. So rook f1, queen b2, bishop b2, rook f7. Which pawn was more important? Oh, if rook f7, he has knight f6. Yeah. So okay, I'm just going to defend my pawn. I don't want any issues here. There's no need to sacrifice a pawn if I don't have to. I'm still better, I have more space, I have better pieces, I have the bishop pair. If he wants to exchange the queens, then so be it. What's the threat now? I don't see it. If I play bishop f4, he has knight e2 check. That's fine. So I'm not going to play bishop f4. If I play rook e1, what does he do then? Rook e1. What does he do after rook e1? Rook e1, he would have to move the knight, because otherwise he loses a piece. And there are no tricks. No tricks. And also, if I play bishop f4, he doesn't even have to play knight e2 check. He can play bishop d4 check and just force me to go back. But knight e2 is probably stronger. After rook e1, none of his threats really work. Okay, so now if I take queen takes, I at least get to win a pawn, or do I? So there's always this bishop d4 annoying check. All of my pawns are on light squares, so it's correct to take strategically. But now after queen takes, I need to be careful about bishop d4. I need to be careful about bishop d4. Do I have rook f4? Rook f4, the only square he has for the queen is e5. And then what do I do? If I take on c5, then he plays bishop d4 check. Oh, but that should be fine. Bishop c5, bishop d4 check, I can just take it. Why am I so blind? Because there's no pawn on c5 now. Jesus. Okay, so bishop c5 should be correct. Yeah. Yeah, I just had a blind spot there, and yeah. Okay, now let's save the diagonal and save the bishop with tempo. Okay, now what do we do now? Let's put some pressure on his position. Where can his queen go? Taken. If I play g4, his queen can only go back. But g4 is also a very weakening move. So if I play rook e3, what does he do? Okay, I'll hold off with g4, I'll just play rook e3. If he tries queen g5, then I'll just play queen e2 or queen d1. Oh yeah, or I can blunder like that. Oh, how stupid I can be sometimes. Oh, Jesus. Oh, maybe I didn't blunder, just g4. g4, bishop takes rook. Yeah, I did blunder. Yeah, I did blunder. Oh. Another one-move blunder. And I don't have queen e2 because he takes with check on f7 on f2. Yeah, okay. I don't have rook e5, I don't have g4, I don't have queen e2, so let's just play something normal. Oh, I'm disgusted by my play today. still I'm going to try to play aggressively and beat him. What a blunder. So both games I played one horrible blunder and that cost me material. I still have some chances because his rooks are hard to get into play. My bishop is not a bad piece. My plan is, the reason why I took with the rook is to play rook g3 and bishop d4. To try some tactics on g6. Okay, that actually benefits me a lot. Check here, king h2, and this also benefits me a lot, so thank you. That's exactly what I wanted to do, and I got to do it with tempo. Okay, yeah, I like my position. My bishop is better than his rook, so I should be fine. So if he moves his queen, I can sacrifice on g6 and have a draw. So c5 should be enough for a draw, but I don't want a draw. I want to win this one. So if I go h4, is that good enough? h4, if he goes e6, I'm going to take on g6. So he doesn't have e6. He never has e6. I could also try just bishop a1. Then he has a check on c4. Can I get my queen onto the dark squares somehow? So I'm looking at queen e3, e6, then I cannot take, but I can play queen h6. And his only move is f6. So what does he do about queen e3? Queen e3. He could go e5, but then I take en passant. He takes with the rook. And I play queen h6, threatening checkmate. So I like queen e3, and I like bishop b1. I'm really not sure what he does about queen e3. Queen e3, e6, takes, queen h6, takes, queen h6. Oh, he can then take my bishop. So queen e3, e6 is probably good for him. Queen e3, e6, if I play queen h6, he's going to play e5, and then the sacrifice on g6 should just be a draw. No, or it's not even a draw because he is defending it with the queen, so that's not a good idea. So probably I'm just going to play this. To double up my queen and bishop on the diagonal. If he plays e6, I take on g6 immediately, and it's game over. Yeah, this I forgot. But I'm just going to take, because my rook is defending the queen. So if I take, and he takes with his rook, I have queen c3. So takes with the queen. I have queen here. Takes with the rook. If he takes my queen, I just take on f7 first. So I'm going to do that. I think that was a really weak move, although I'm not sure. Okay, takes with the rook. Now I want to stop the checks and threaten mate. So queen c3. Stopping rook e1, defending my bishop, and threatening mate. And mate. Oh, he just missed checkmate in one. Okay. Okay. Oof. I don't know. Actually, losing the exchange benefited me. Let's look at the game. Oh, I'm just reading the chat. Okay, wait. Let's have a look at the game. So okay, the first critical point is knight e4. Ooh, what happened? The first critical point is knight e4 here. Yeah, c5. He should have played knight e4, bishop e4, and d5 is correct. So okay. Queen c8 is the best move. How is queen c8 the best move? Then bishop f3 is also mentioned. f4, best move, okay. f5, best move. Okay, I played well this game. Knight f6, queen c2 is correct. I took, which is also okay. And now I played bishop d3, which is the best move. Bishop b1 is a huge mistake. I wanted to stop e6, but queen f2. Yeah, queen f2 just attacks the pawn. Okay. Yeah, rook f3 was a mistake. What? Yeah, b3, correct. Rook e1, correct. Oof, bishop e4, queen e4. Oh, I could have just trapped the queen. Stupid. Stupid. Okay. Yeah, now just equal. But my bishop was better than his rook throughout the game. Rook g5 is the only good move. Okay, rook g5 I didn't even look at. What's the point of rook g5? Playing for this? Okay, so rook g5. Let's say he does play king f8. What's the point? I would never find rook g5. That move visually makes absolutely no sense. e5 now makes sense. Bishop a1, e5, takes. What? Why am I so lost? Rook takes e6, queen c3. He can play f6? Oh, come on. No way. That's just ridiculous. Why can't I take here? What? Okay, that I don't understand that. I really didn't expect that f6 is a move. Is there really nothing here? Why am I losing this? And I want the same position, but I don't understand this. Okay, now my rook is pinned. Okay, losing the exchange wasn't good. Losing the pawn in the first game wasn't good. I don't know, I would have bet that I'm better in this last position. Okay, thank you for watching. I have a lot of work to do. Apparently, I don't know what to blame for these two blunders. Probably the fact that I'm not in tournament mode and I blundered the exchange with more than 10 minutes on the clock. Yeah, and the first game, I don't know, just stupidity. Yeah, thanks for watching. Please let me know if you would rather have black or white here. Not here, but okay. Okay, so I'll just show you the position which I mean. So here, I mean, if you look at this objectively, would you rather be black or white? I think I would always rather take white, and that's the problem with my tactical inability. I truly believe that white was better here. I don't know. I would always be white here. I just don't see the threat. Let's just look at it once more. So f6 is the best move, and I'm going to play human moves. Rook takes, king g7. I bring my rook back here, let's say. Rook e8. Let's turn this off. What would I play? Queen c2 probably, to go for this. Oh yeah, that just hangs checkmate. Okay. So how do I save myself from mate here? Well, then on the previous move, I'll just play rook back. And if he plays here, I'll play queen c2. Now if he checks me, I go here. If he takes, I think that should be all over, yeah. But let's see what the engine does against queen c2. Oh. I'm just a moron sometimes. Okay, how do I get my queen on the light squares? Maybe this is good. But now I don't have enough, I think. If he takes, and I check. I thought I was going to win his rook, but my rook is still pinned. So yeah, that doesn't work. Okay, two really weak games. I hope to do better tomorrow. I'll go and solve some tactics now. I have a 4-hour training session now, just tactics from books, and I hope to get a bit better in the next 4 days. Thanks very much. Stay tuned for more chess. Bye-bye.